If we are honest, today fear does not knock at the front door anymore. It slips in by the side gate of the phone. A little banner slides across the screen. The letters in red, the word breaking, and the heart jumps as if summoned to an emergency that belongs to us. A group text shouts judgment in 14 bubbles. A siren hums through the speaker. A graph with a steep red line is posted. And we are tempted, yes, tempted to take it into ourselves as if power had just been born outside of God. Now, we are not asked to deny headlines, nor to pretend that the news has no content. We are asked only this: refuse fear's claim to be power. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings, the psalmist sang. His heart is fixed, trusting in the Lord. And again, in quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. This is the orientation for our work together. Fear is loud, but we answer softly and inwardly. We do not argue with it. We do not compose a speech to it. We do not enter debate with shadows. We answer with a whisper that is older than storms. Be not afraid. God is. That quiet sentence is not a charm. It is not a positive thought. It is the remembrance of presence. When the Master walked on the water and the wind strove to frighten those who loved him, the word was simple. It is I. Be not afraid. That is, I am here, not somewhere else, not far, here. God is. You will notice that the inner jolt, that first flash, is where consent is given or withheld. The issue is not the news item. The issue is whether we grant a second power a throne in our consciousness. Are there two powers in our experience, God and whatever the alert announces, or do we abide in the one and watch the appearance lose authority? Thou couldst have no power over me unless it were given thee from above. Now, of course, this is not a license to negligence. We are not withholding compassion, nor are we closing our eyes to the needs of our brothers and sisters. We are withdrawing our consent from fear's pretense of power so that we may be instruments of right action without panic. Let me tell you a little scene. It is 2 a.m, and a mother named Ruth hears the buzz beside her bed. A message. He's not answering. ER. In that split second, every nerve reaches for the worst picture. She sits up. Her lips form questions. Then she remembers the soft answer. She closes her eyes, places the phone face down, and silently, without any drama, lets the words find her. Be not afraid. God is. She does not try to use truth as a tool, for you can't use truth, but truth can use you. She rests 2 breaths, 3, until the inner tundra warms just enough to feel the secret place open. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Only then does she dial. Only then does she drive. Not in a trance of fear, but under government. We must have a protocol for that first jolt, because that is where safety begins, not in the outer rearrangement, but in the inward refusal. The protocol is very simple and can be practiced 10 times a day if need be. First, stop one heartbeat's pause before you read, speak, or react. Second, turn within. Consciously step into the presence you carry and hear the inner sentence, be not afraid, God is. Third, abide, do not hurry. This wait until the soft answer answers you, until the waters within say, peace be still, and the fear has no voice left. Then, and not before, take whatever outward step is rightly yours. If we will do only this, In the face of every notification, every group message, every clanging headline, we will find that the world's volume can be at full, and yet within there is a hush. We are not denying the world. We are denying fear, the dignity of power in our consciousness. And you will discover, as surely as dawn returns, that what seemed urgent without becomes ordered within, and what becomes ordered within begins to govern what you do without. Be not afraid. God is. This is our soft answer to a loud age, and it is enough to begin. Now, let us turn to the real question beneath every alert, every siren, every flash of adrenaline. Can there be two powers in our experience? If God is omnipresent, if God is omnipotent, where, pray tell, would a rival power set up its throne? Where could it dwell? Whither shall I go from thy spirit? Or whither shall I flee from thy presence? If the presence fills heaven and earth, if the love that formed us is nearer than breath, what is this thing that shouts, I too am power? We must be honest. It is an appearance asking for our consent. That is all. It is an appearance that has no life of its own, knocking at the door of consciousness, asking to be enthroned. Now, of course, someone says, but look at the CT scan. Look at the bank statement. Listen to the shouting on the street. Are we to ignore these? No, we are not to be foolish. We are to be faithful. We are to acknowledge conditions without granting them spiritual authority. There is a holy difference between tending a human need and bowing down to it as power. The Master gave us the rule. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. That is, look it in the face and refuse it a crown. See it, serve where service is given you to do, and yet within, keep the heart fixed. God is the only power. I am God, and there is none else, comes the ancient word. And again, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Do you see the practical cost when we waver on this point? Dualism is expensive. It drains life in small dues. 1 hour we sing, the next we sink. We are elated when the headline favors our hope and in panic when it does not. James spoke plainly. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. That is the seesaw of two powers. We do not become unkind in that state. We become ungoverned. We are pushed, pulled, tossed, faith on Sunday, fear on Monday morning, but we were not fashioned for that. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear. Note, not a distant help, not a future help, a present help. Let us identify fear for what it is, so we need not be shamed by it nor seduced by it. Fear is the mind's consent to an opposite presence as real power. Fear is not merely a quiver in the body. It is the inward nod that says, yes, you, shadow, you have authority. The body will tremble at times. That is not sin. The sin, if there is sin here, is only this: agreeing that anything outside of God can govern our life. And so perfect love casteth out fear, not by wrestling with it, not by argument, but by reestablishing. 1, love reunites what fear split. Love says again within, I and my Father are one, and separation melts. Now here is our turning point, and it is immediate. It is not for later, not for when conditions improve. Spiritual practice begins the instant we detect the two-power suggestion. In that instant, we withdraw consent, quietly, no drama. We do not scold the mind. We do not shout at appearances. We turn, we abide, and we let the gentle word rise. Be not afraid. God is Thou couldst have no power over me except it were given thee from above. Say it, not loudly, but truly, and then wait the 2 or 3 breaths until head and heart. Remember that. Truth is not a lever we pull. You can't use truth, but truth can use you. Take an example close at hand. The bank app flashes overdrawn. The stomach drops. Very well. See it. Make the call you must make. Trim the expense you must trim. But first, withdraw the consent that money governs your safety. Let the presence reassert its government. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Or a doctor's report lays a name upon a symptom. You do not deny the name. You deny its crown. You follow the light given you to follow treatment, rest, counsel. Yet inwardly you keep to one. It isn't that God must fight disease. It is that disease has no power. When fear comes through the voice of a loved one, do not contradict their pain. Hold them, listen, and within abide, until the one presence is so present in you that your words are governed and your silence is a benediction. This is the foundation upon which all practice rests. We withdraw consent from a second power and return again and again to the one, not once for all time, but as many times as appearances knock. Each time we notice the suggestion, we have our answer ready and gentle, our inner verdict steadfast and quiet. Be not afraid. God is. And from there, the next right step is given. Now we must ask, what is it we are saying when we say God is? Are we uttering a hopeful line, a bit of poetry to comfort the nerves? Or are we acknowledging a fact as present as breath? Be still and know that I am God is not future tense and not elsewhere. It is here where the fear seemed to shout. God is here, now, in the very place the appearance claimed jurisdiction. When the Master said, "It is I, be not afraid," he did not send a message from a distant shore. He stood on the water that frightened them. So with us, the knowing is not an away knowing. It is an at-hand knowing. Now, of course, we must be clear that we are not trying to make something happen with words. Autosuggestion belongs to the realm of using truth. But hear this, you can't use truth, but truth can use you. The difference is everything. Using truth is the mind's attempt to push a lever and pull a switch, to coerce reality with syllables. Letting truth use us is surrender. We relax the hand from the lever. We yield the tongue to silence, and we let presence announce itself within consciousness. In him we live and move and have our being. We do not drag God into the room by reciting. We awaken to the fact that we have never been outside of God. That is why the instruction is so simple and so demanding. Be still and know. Not think, not strive, know. What then are we knowing? We are not knowing a deity far off, nor a power that competes with other powers. We are recognizing the one that is the life of all life, the intelligence of all intelligence, the law of all true law, the love of all love, the harmony, the wholeness, the completeness, the perfection, the infinite good that underlies and outlasts every appearance. God as life, animating, renewing. God as intelligence, ordering, governing. God as law, establishing, sustaining. God as love, embracing, forgiving. God as harmony, restoring, reconciling. I am the Lord that healeth thee. Not by fixing from outside, but by being the very isness in which discord has no footing. This produces an inner shift that you can feel. Before we scan the horizon, we count symptoms, we watch markets, we measure moods, we live by weather reports of the outer scene. After we rest in being, we stop consulting effects to learn about cause. Take no thought for the morrow is not carelessness. It is care under God. We exchange future fear for present God. We stop bargaining for outcomes and begin abiding in presence. And then we learn the quiet miracle that outcomes begin to line up under a government, not our own. My peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Not as the world, because the world gives by event. Spirit gives by presence. And so the world remains the world. The same headlines, the same appointments, the same children to be dressed and fed, the same ledger to be balanced. But the tyrant has been dismissed. The phone may flash, but it no longer governs the heart's weather. The body may ask for care, and we give it. The bank may ask for prudence, and we give it. The neighbor may ask for help, and we give it. Yet within, the throne is not reoccupied by appearances. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Notice, the walk may continue through the valley, but the fear does not continue, because the presence does not cease. Let me put it in a simple scene. A small shopkeeper hears that regulations may change again. The old habit rises, calculate losses, rehearse worries. He feels the swell. Then he remembers. He sets the paperwork down, closes his eyes, and in the very room where anxiety knocked, he yields. Be not afraid. God is. 2, 3 breaths. He does not push the words. He lets them push him into the secret place. Something unclenches. In that hush, a practical idea arrives. Call the baker down the street. Share deliveries. Adjust hours for the afternoon lull. The world is the same street, the same town, but he moves through it under another government. The kingdom of God is within you. Within, not theory, but the presence that orders steps. So let us keep this straight in our practice. God is not a slogan to force results. It is recognition of omnipresent presence. We do not wield the phrase. We yield to the fact it names. We do not wait for a sign to prove it true. We rest in the truth that precedes signs. And as we abide in the Word, and let the Word abide in us, the inner climate changes, and with it, direction is given. Lo, I am with you always, is the promise. And in that always, fear finds no throne. Be not afraid. God is. Now let us be very practical, because the world will not pause to honor our good intentions. The world will send the trigger, and it will send it suddenly. Therefore, we must be prepared for the first 20 seconds, because in those first seconds, protection begins. The protocol is not complicated, but it must be obeyed. First, stop the outward motion. Stop the thumb. Stop the tongue. Stop the rehearsal of catastrophe. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. It isn't stoicism. It is obedience to a higher government. Lay the phone down. Close your lips. Unclench the plan to argue, explain, defend. 1 heartbeat of stillness. 2, 3. Second, turn within and state the maxim once, and then rest. Not a chant to drown panic, not a charm to make appearances behave. Simply, truth announcing itself in you. Be not afraid. God is. Say it and then let it say you. You can't use truth, but truth can use you. Therefore, do not hurry to repeat it like a warding spell. Speak it once and let the inner silence receive it. Be still and know that I am God. In that knowing, the waves do not cease to exist. They cease to govern. Third, breathe not as a technique to manipulate the body, but as an act of consent to divine government. One natural breath, then another, without strain. With each quiet inhalation and exhalation, let the heart answer, Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done. Feel what that means in practice. I relinquish rulership to presence. The Spirit of God hath made me, and the breath of the Almighty giveth me life. These are not pretty words. They are the fact of your existence. Allow the breath to carry mind and nerve into the stillness already present. Fourth, ask the guiding question that belongs to those who have renounced two powers. What is God being right where this fear claims a place? Is God being life where a report whispers death? Is God being law where chaos shouts? Is God being love where hostility flares? Is God being wisdom where confusion vaunts itself? Wait the space of 2 or 3 breaths, not for a speech from heaven, but for a tone to establish within an inner yes that often arrives as a quiet naming. Life, law, love, wisdom, sufficiency. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. We are not deciding outcomes. We are letting the one be one in us. From that hush, a step may be given. Answer the call. Compose the email. Go to the appointment. Or wait and do nothing. But do you see? The step does not originate in fear's momentum. It emerges under government. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. In 20 seconds, 20 honest seconds, dominion begins to return. You have not denied the headline. You have denied it a crown. Let me paint the moment so you may recognize it when it comes. A message arrives. Meeting moved budget cuts. The old program leaps. Defend, accuse, predict loss. Instead, you stop, phone down, be not afraid. God is. 1 breath. 2. What is God being here? Law, order, provision. The inner weather shifts, just slightly, but enough. The reply you are about to send, the sharp one, dissolves. You ask for the facts you need. You offer a clear proposal. You move, but not as prey. You move as one under a different government. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Now hear this corrective, gentle but firm. Do not dramatize your practice. Keep it locked up within you. No announcements, no display of piety. Enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret. Go and tell no man. If a friend asks how you kept your balance, smile and say, I waited a moment. Let your fruits speak for your roots. The first 20 seconds belong to God. Give them, and you will find the next 20 minutes, the next 20 hours, increasingly ordered by the same presence. This is the simple protocol. Stop, return, abide. In those brief moments, the belief in a second power is dismissed without fuss, and the soft answer takes the throne again. Be not afraid. God is. Now we must make a correction, gentle but firm, because this point is often misunderstood. To refuse a second power is not to refuse human need. It is not apathy, not indifference. not a cold metaphysical shrug. We are not to pass by on the other side. The Master was moved with compassion. He touched lepers. He fed the hungry. He sat with the grieving. Our stance is the same. We may take every human footstep that love assigns, yet we do not enthrone the problem while we take it. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Righteous judgment sees the need, serves as directed, and yet within, keeps the throne for God alone. Notice how fear argues. It rushes in, not merely with pictures, but with a demand for consent. This is power, it insists. Say so now, agree now, bow now, then perhaps you may act. That is fear's first trick, to secure a mental coronation before any outer step is taken. If we yield that point, every action that follows is colored by panic. Even good deeds feel driven and thin. But we are taught another word, and it is not loud. Thou couldst have no power over me, said the Master to the representative of outward authority, except it were given thee from above. There is the spiritual fact. Appearances, systems, symptoms, storms, none have independent power. Therefore we can act, and sometimes quickly, without first surrendering the crown of our consciousness to the alarm. What does that look like on an ordinary day? A child wakes in the night with a fever. We do not stand in the doorway making speeches to temperature. We tend. We cool the brow. We call the nurse if wisdom gives that footstep. But we do not worship the fever with our thought. We do not repeat its number as a mantra. Inwardly, even as the hand does its kindly work, the heart returns to the secret. Be not afraid. God is. Life is the life here. Law is the law here. Love is the climate here. Because of that abiding, our touch is steady, our word is quiet, and our decisions are governed. Or a neighbor loses her job and the rent falls due. We do not tell her it is an illusion and close the door. That is not forgiveness. That is failure of love. We bring a meal. We help with a resume. We send a lead. And while we do, we withdraw the inner consent that unemployment sits on the throne. We keep the government where it belongs. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Supply is the activity of God, not the favor of man. Under that recognition, ideas come, doors open, and sometimes from places we would not have thought to knock. Let us take it to the grand arena of headlines. You read of a storm, an outbreak, a conflict. The heart moves. Good. Let it be tender. Then, before you forward, before you post, before you assemble outrage, return, phone down, one breath. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is fixed, trusting in the Lord. Ask what is mine to do under God. It may be to give, then give. It may be to go, then go. It may be to pray and be silent, and pray and be silent. But do not mistake activity for authority. Activity is our footstep. Authority remains one. This is how we break the hypnosis of the world's urgency while still being instruments of mercy. The same rule applies to the body. Follow the treatment you are led to follow. Take the rest. Consult the wisdom placed at hand. But refuse the ritual of worshiping the diagnosis, hourly rehearsing its name, scanning it as if it were a sovereign. It isn't that God must come and do battle for us. It is that apart from our consent, there is no second power to enthrone. So we abide, we forgive, we give thanks, and then we take the next sane step in that order. Hold this as your working discernment. We can address human conditions while refusing to enthrone them as power. We can move swiftly, but not under spell. We can be thorough, but not afraid. The protocol remains the same: stop, return, abide, and then act as one under a different government. If you will keep this inward order while you move through outward duties, you will find an authority present in you that steadies the room, and the soft answer will govern your day. Be not afraid. God is. Now, let us speak plainly about the little screen in the hand, because many of us do not notice what it is doing to our consciousness. Doomscrolling is not a moral failure. It is modern hypnosis. Repetition is its instrument. One more clip, one more headline, one more thread, and the mind, good, earnest, wanting to care, begins to accept a false omnipresence. Fear seems everywhere. The feed never ends. And so the suggestion arrives that danger never ends, hatred never sleeps, scarcity is universal. This is how the spell works: through repetition, not through truth. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. If we live in appearance after appearance after appearance, we will judge by them. But we are called to remember the only omnipresence, not fear everywhere, God everywhere, not panic everywhere, life everywhere, not confusion everywhere, intelligence everywhere. Whither shall I go from thy spirit? Or whither shall I flee from thy presence? There is no feed that can outshout that fact. Now, of course, we are not being told to smash our phones or to withdraw to a cave. We are being invited to stewardship. We are responsible for what we permit to sit upon the throne of attention. Input is not neutral. It trains consent. Therefore, set a boundary, not out of shame or pride, but because you love the life of God in you. Decide that your device may carry information, but it cannot carry authority. Decide that your thumb does not govern your day. The spirit within does. A simple discipline will serve you. Take news in measured portions at appointed times, and never without the counterweight of abiding. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is fixed, trusting in the Lord. Fix the heart first. Then the tidings can be heard without enthronement. Here is a very gentle practice, and it will seem small until you learn its power. After any news intake, 10 seconds or 10 minutes, close the channel and give 1 honest minute to the secret place. 1 minute. Lay the phone down as if you were laying an offering on the altar, and be still, and know that I am God. Do not recite to drown out the noise. Simply let the word you already know abide in you. Be not afraid. God is. Say it once, and then let it say you. Let the breath answer, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. In that minute, you are not replacing headlines with positive thoughts. You are replacing a false omnipresence with the fact. You are returning government to God. You will find that this minute changes the texture of the next hour. The same stories will be reported. The same needs will ask for action. But something within will have remembered one, and from one, clarity arrives. Should I give? Then give. Should I write? Then write. Should I wait? Then wait. But the movement is not compulsion. It is obedience. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, stayed not on the stream of appearances, but on the presence that fills all in all. Someone will say, but I must stay informed. I answer, yes, but informed under God. Information without abiding is a wire without insulation. It will burn the hand that holds it. The goal is not to be the first to know. The goal is to be the first to return to God and act from that knowing. We do not pay for awareness with peace. We bring peace to awareness. The world does not need one more frightened opinion. It needs instruments of quiet authority. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, give I unto you. If you will take that peace first, then your sentences, your steps, your help carry another weight. Try this for a day, and then another. Every time you close a news app or step away from a thread, give 1 minute to the closet within. No announcement, no performance. Go and tell no man. Let the soft answer resume its place, even silently. Be not afraid. God is. In less time than it takes to read one more comment, the spell is broken. The only omnipresence reclaims your horizon. Life everywhere, intelligence everywhere, love everywhere. And then, as one under that government, go and be as practical as love requires. Now we move from the feed to the faces. Fear seldom stays in headlines. It puts on the voice of a text, the pressure of a deadline, the edge in a loved one's tone. Accusation arrives. Manipulation arrives. Contempt arrives. Well, of course, as long as we live among people, these gusts will blow across our porch. The temptation in such moments is not theoretical. It is personal. To enthrone a second power called their will and to set our will against it. That, precisely that, is how the split begins. Inwardly, a quiet war forms my case versus their case, my right versus their wrong, and in that instant we have left the one government. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Two powers, two minds, two governments, no peace. Here we must remember that forgiveness is not a courtesy we extend to misbehavior. Forgiveness is a law of God. Forgiveness is one of those qualities of God. It is the movement by which love removes obstructions within so that grace can flow without hindrance. It is never approval of wrong. It is never permission for abuse. It is cleansing our own consent to separation, cleansing the rush of retaliation that pretends to be power. Forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors, is not a bargain. It is revelation. The same river that carries away my burden carries away my indictment of you. If I damn it for you, I damn it for me. What then is the practice when the message lands and heat rises in the body? Do as you have learned with headlines, only now with the added grace of forgiveness. First, stop the outward motion. Do not answer while the spell is on you. Lay the phone down. Close the lips. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but no answer at all for a moment is softer still. Second, return within where the government is settled. Be not afraid. God is. Not their will, not my will. Thy will be done. Third, if the heart cannot find release, do not try to manufacture it. You can't use truth, but truth can use you. Then pray the prayer that unlocks the gate when your hand will not. Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. If even that sticks in the throat, then say, Father, forgive me. I know not what I do. I do not see as thou seest. Dissolve in me what blocks thy love. You will feel the shift. Often, small at first, a loosening at the back of the neck, a drop in the compulsion to set them straight. Why does this matter? Because resentment is the religion of two powers. It keeps before consciousness a rival throne, their will over me, and thus we suffer the division. We wrestle with personalities and forget that we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but with suggestions that there is a power apart from God. In that divided state, we draft fine replies and make poor decisions. We speak beyond the grace given and then repent of our words. But as forgiveness washes the inner lenses, proportion returns. We see a person where a threat seemed to stand. We see our part where only their fault had been magnified. We see choices under God, not compulsions under fear. Let me give you a plain case. A sister's text arrives, sharp, accusing, about the family account. The first motion is the old one: defend, cite your contributions, return fire. Instead, phone down, be not afraid, God is. One breath. Two, Father, forgive her, she knows not what she does. Father, forgive me, I know not what I do. The weather shifts. In that quiet, guidance appears. Not a manifesto, a simple step. Ask for a call. Speak one fact without sting. Offer a next meeting time. Or, just as truly, the light may say nothing today. Send a kind line and wait. The action is no longer punishment in disguise. It is obedience. If thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there remember that thy brother hath aught against thee, first be reconciled. Reconciled within, first of all, so that any outward step proceeds from one. Another scene, a manager's email, late, pressing unfairly. You stop. You forgive immediately, not because they are right, but because you will not enthrone their will as power. In the cleared inner air, you see your boundary. Now the soft answer can be firm without barbs. You write the truth, no more, no less. Or you sleep and answer in the morning. The difference is not cosmetic, it is jurisdiction. Who governs your reply? Fear, pride, or God? My peace I give unto you. In that peace, speech is guided, silence is guided, even departure is guided. When to stay, when to go under love, not heat. Keep this private. Do not announce that you have forgiven. Go and tell no man. Let the fruit show the root. And here is your quiet test. After forgiving inwardly, whether by your own yielding or by that prayer of the Son, notice the return of guidance and proportion. Notice how the sentence you are about to send softens or tightens into truth. Notice how the need to triumph drains away and the wish for right action grows. Sometimes you will say no and it will be clean. Sometimes you will say yes and it will be free. Always you will feel the government again. One. Then the mantra can rise as benediction over the relationship, over you, over them. Be not afraid, God is. Forgiveness has removed the inner obstruction so that God's government can be felt and followed. Now we must correct another misunderstanding, gentle but firm. Many of us have thought of gratitude as a payment tip, the deity. Keep the blessings coming, or as excitement when a condition improves. Now, of course, it is natural to feel glad when the pain subsides or the letter brings good news. But that gladness is not yet spiritual gratitude. Spiritual gratitude is not a coin and not a mood. It is recognition. It is the heart's clear seeing that the presence is here, active, governing, whether the appearance is pleasant, unpleasant, or still unfinished. In everything give thanks, not because everything as an appearance is good, but because within everything, God is life, love, intelligence, and law, unaltered, unwithheld. I once received a note from a man who had found work after a long season of lack. He wrote, "I am so grateful to your talk last week. It got me the job." And he enclosed something in the envelope. Well, of course, I wrote him back and said, "I can say thank you." But inwardly I smile, because I know it wasn't the lecture and it wasn't the envelope. Your gratitude if you understand it rightly, is for a living witness that God is available on earth today, that there is a law of harmony that answers when you abide. Gratitude goes far beyond money. It goes far beyond events. We are not to be grateful for any form of good, but for the spirit that underlies the form. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, which is to say, from the unseen activity of God. Why is this distinction vital? Because fear is a bargainer. It says, be grateful, and perhaps the stream will not dry. Be grateful, and maybe they won't take it back. That is gratitude as superstition. When gratitude becomes spiritual recognition, not transaction, the bargaining collapses. We rest in being rather than negotiate with outcomes. Then the mantra ceases to be an emergency tool and becomes a climate. Be not afraid. God is. Gratitude rises as the fragrance of that fact, not as forced positivity, but as simple vision. God here. God now. God is life, love, intelligence, law. Here is your micro practice, very quiet and very strong. After a trigger, before any result, say inwardly, once, only once, and then rest. I am grateful that God is here as life, love, intelligence, and law. Do not use those words to pry a door open. You can't use truth, but truth can use you. Say them, and then let them say you. Let the breath answer, thy kingdom come. In that recognition, the inner weather settles. Whether the phone call brings yes or no, whether the body eases now or later, whether the market rises or falls, the throne is not vacant, it is occupied. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, not counting benefits as parcels delivered, but as the ceaseless activity of God's own being within your being. Test this in opposite circumstances. The check arrives. Pause. Be grateful to spirit, not the paper. The check is delayed. Pause. Be grateful to spirit, not the promise. The fever breaks. Bless the Lord for life, not the thermometer. The fever lingers. Bless the Lord for life, present and governing, even as you take the next sane footstep. This is not denial of need. It is refusal of a second power. Gratitude reestablishes jurisdiction. One, under that jurisdiction, ideas appear, timing clears, doors open or close under wisdom, not under panic. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. Stayed on thee is gratitude's true posture. Keep this private. Do not announce that you have learned a higher gratitude. Go and tell no man. Let the fruit show the root. You will notice that spiritual gratitude makes you steady rather than giddy, available rather than anxious, generous without fear of diminishment. It purifies giving because it removes the covert hope of getting. It purifies receiving because it removes the covert fear of losing. And so gratitude, rightly understood, becomes the quiet hymn, always humming beneath the day. Be not afraid. God is. From that hymn, thank the presence here, now, as life, love, intelligence, and law, and then go on with your work under a government not your own. Now we must pass from inspiration to demonstration, from hearing to doing. Take this not as a theory, but as an invitation. For 30 days, only 30, you will put these principles on the throne of your day and watch what God does. Prove me now herewith, says the prophet. And that is not bravado. It is loving certainty that grace answers where we abide. We are not testing God. We are letting truth reveal itself as the government of our hours. You can't use truth But truth can use you. Give it a chance to use you for 30 days. Begin each morning before the world climbs into your lap. Enter into thy closet. Shut the door. 5 minutes will do if they are honest. Sit, become still, and without effort let one sentence take the throne. Be not afraid, God is. Say it once, and then let it say you. If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, there is the condition. In that quiet name, not as a charm, but as recognition what God is being is this day: life, love, intelligence, law. Let those words settle as climate, not outcomes, not plans, presence. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Close your door gently. Carry the hush into your first footstep. At midday, after the news or the meeting or the hallway room, especially after the news, give one honest minute back to God. Lay the device down. Close the browser. Stop the thumb. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is fixed, trusting in the Lord. Fix it again. One breath, two. Ask. What is God being right here where fear claims omnipresence? Life, love, intelligence, law. Answer inwardly once. I am grateful that God is here as life, love, intelligence, and law. Not grateful for the report, not grateful against it, but grateful for presence. Then rise and take the next sane step. That minute is not a delay. It is jurisdiction restored. In the evening, cleanse. This is your forgiveness hour. Though it may take only 3 or 4 quiet minutes, sit again. Let the day pass before you and notice any face at which your heart tightens. Do not argue with yourself. Forgive. If you can, release them now. Father, I forgive. If you not do as the Master did for those beyond their own strength and say, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. If even that sticks, then, Father, forgive me. I know not what I do. Dissolve in me what blocks thy love. Do not rise until the sting has softened, even a little. Then offer gratitude, not as scorekeeping for forms, but as recognition of Spirit's activity. Today I witnessed thy life sustaining me, thy love softening my reply, thy intelligence opening a way, thy law ordering what looked chaotic. Keep it brief. Keep it true. Go and tell no man. Now, of course, be prepared. Within minutes of leaving this room, the suggestion of a second power will present itself with fanfare. Tomorrow morning, before you reach the sink, some alarm will ask for your consent. Bow now. Agree now. Remember the protocol. Stop. Return. Abide. 20 seconds are enough to refuse the coronation. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. If you forget and are swept away, do not add a second failure by condemning yourself. Turn back at the first remembering. 70 times 7 is not only for your neighbor, it is for your own returns to God. How shall you measure the 30 days? Not by a perfect life, not by a calendar of miracles, though do not be surprised when harmony appears, but by a steadier inner government and a quicker return when you wobble. You will know progress because agitation will lose its veto. Decisions will come cleaner. The gap between fear's shout and your soft answer will shorten. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. That is the sign, not a denial of human need, but a peace that governs your steps amid it. Keep your practice private. Let the fruit speak. And at the end of 30 days, often long before, look back and see whether you are not living more under 1 than under 2. So here is the experiment. daily abiding in the morning, a minute of returning after each midday intake, an evening cleansing by forgiveness and gratitude that recognizes spirit, not things. Keep it simple. Keep it honest. Keep it continuous. In 30 days, less than 30, you will find that dominion answers to discipline, because dominion belongs to God and discipline simply makes room. Be not afraid. God is. Return to that again and again, and watch the government of your life settle under the Almighty's quiet hand. Now we must bring together what has been practiced in the closet and prove it in the street. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. That place is not a monastery on a hillside, and it is not a room with the door locked. It is an inner address. The Master said, "The kingdom of God is within you." Therefore, protection is not a fort we build, but a presence in which we live and move and have our being. We do not flee the world. We dwell in God while moving through it. Consider the paradox the Spirit teaches us. We may be in the midst of alarms, subways halted, sirens passing, markets falling, tempers rising, and yet inwardly untouched. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Shadows pass across the road, but they do not seize the traveler. In other words, the conditions may remain for a time, and the footsteps may be very practical, calling, mending, meeting, deciding, yet the home of our awareness is not in the shadows, not in the newsfeed, not in the rumor, but in God. Be not afraid. God is. What changes then as we walk under this government? Decisions become simpler because they emerge from one rather than from the tug of war of two. Speech is less reactive because it rises from peace rather than from panic. A soft answer turneth away wrath. Actions are more timely and compassionate because we are no longer trying to win. We are willing to love. You will find that interruptions become guidance, delays become protection, and urgencies are sifted. Some ought to be answered, some ought to be laid aside. It is not that you acquire personal skill. It is that you begin to live transparently enough for God to act. Of mine own self I can do nothing, the Master said. Let that be our humility. You can't use truth, but truth can use you. Do not mistake this for passivity. The one who abides may walk into a hard room because love sends him there, may speak a strong no because mercy requires it, may give or withhold, go or stay, not under fear but under government. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Overcome does not mean outrun. It means to remain under one while moving through many. That is protection without withdrawal. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. And your dwelling, remember, is the consciousness stayed on God. Your address is the secret place. Even while your feet stand in a busy corner of the city, tested in common scenes, on the train when the announcement stutters and tension climbs, do not join the chorus of predictions. Close the inner door for one breath. Be not afraid. God is. In that breath, you will notice a widening space to notice the elderly woman who needs a seat, the child who needs a smile, the next right footstep. In a meeting, when voices sharpen, let the mantra take the chair within. You may say little, you may say a single sentence at the right moment, you may ask a question that clears the fog at a bedside as monitors hum. Let the prayer be simple. Not my will, but thine be done. Then do the next sane, loving thing. The presence will govern both your pace and your hands. Keep this quiet. Go and tell no man. Let the fruit speak, a steadier face, a measured word, a kindness that arrives on time. And let every trigger, great or small, be reinterpreted as a bell, the ping of the phone, the shift in a loved one's tone, the headline that wants your consent. Each is a bell calling you to the altar within. Stop, return, abide. Then move from the altar into the world as one who carries the hush of the secret place into every hallway. In this way, without withdrawing 1 inch from your duties, you will learn that safety is not distance from danger, but nearness to God. So we end where we began, not with a louder answer to fear, but with a softer, truer one. Be not afraid. God is. Dwell there while you walk here, and you will find that goodness and mercy follow you, that underneath are the everlasting arms, that even in the presence of enemies, a table is spread. We do not flee the world. We live in God while moving through it. And the world, meeting you there, will feel another government. So now, at the close, we do not multiply ideas. We gather them into a single, usable thread. The way has been plain from the first. When fear breaks in by headline, by tone of voice, by the body's report, we do not argue long with appearances. We do not take counsel with panic. We do not enthrone a second power. We pause. We withdraw consent. We return to the only government. Be not afraid. God is. Then, in that climate, we forgive immediately if we can, by the Father's prayer if we cannot, and the inner obstruction drops. Gratitude answers next, not to the form, but to spirit. I am grateful that God is here as life, love, intelligence, and law. And then we abide quietly, steadily, long enough for guidance to appear as the next sane, loving step. That is the arc. Detect the claim of 2 powers. Pause. Be not afraid. God is forgive. Give spiritual gratitude. Abide. Do not suppose that a day will arrive when no temptations knock. You will not graduate from the human scene by escape. You will ripen within it by vigilance. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Overcome. How? Not by outshouting the world, but by dwelling under one. Take this as reassurance and as assignment. The same triggers may come, but you will meet them as another person, quicker to turn inward, slower to consent to a second throne. That is progress. That is grace training your reflex. If you stumble, and you will do not add condemnation to distraction, turn back at the first, remembering, in returning and rest shall ye be saved. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Learn this, and it will save you hours. Do not debate with fear. Fear loves the courtroom. It thrives on your cross-examination. The Master's way was not to argue down appearances, but to refuse them authority. Get thee behind me is not a wrestling match. It is jurisdiction restored. So when fear shouts, answer softly and soon. 1 breath will do. Be not afraid. God is. Let that be not only your statement, but your seat. Be still and know that I am God. You can't use truth, but truth can use you. Offer it a still heart and a willing will, and you will find that the gale falls to a manageable wind and sometimes to a great calm. Peace, be still. Keep your practice private. Enter thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, do your cleansing, your gratitude, your simple abiding. Go and tell no man. Let the fruit speak less reactivity, more proportion, a kindness that comes on time, a yes or a no that is clean. The world does not need our noise. It needs our transparency. Our work is not to improve God's action, but to stop blocking it. By daily abiding, by prompt forgiveness, by gratitude for spirit rather than for forms, we get out of the way enough for love to govern. So we leave one another with a quiet benediction, not an exit march. Whenever fear shouts, you will know the path home. Detect the two-power suggestion. Pause, return, forgive, give thanks to spirit, abide, then move under guidance. Repeat this without drama. Repeat it when you succeed and when you fail. Repeat it in the dark and at noon. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Our answer remains gentle, constant, and sufficient. Be not afraid. God is. Dwell there while you walk here. And in that dwelling, you will find that goodness and mercy follow, that he shall cover thee with his feathers, that underneath are the everlasting arms. Thank you. Bless you. Be not afraid. God is